Lovely. Hello everyone and welcome to day 2 of the CSCC Championship here live from Snetterton Racetrack. I'm Anthony Jordan, joining me Mark Werrell. Mark, how are you this morning?
Yeah, great to be here again today. We've been greeted by fantastic weather so far this weekend. Chilly, but thoroughly enjoyable weekend so far. We had some great racing yesterday and we almost sort of reset everything for today because in day 2 it's all different series that we'll be racing. We sort of step back in terms of the period of time that we're going through here. So it's cars from the 60s, the 70s, the 1980s that we see here today. But we're going to see some fantastic racing over the course of the day.
I think you're right in saying that. And of course, ladies and gents who are watching at home, do get your comments in of what you think is going to happen throughout the day. Get your predictions in, get your comments in, what your favourite cars or anything like that. Let us know in the comments section. Mark, should we go for a ponder? Because,
let's have a wonder.
Obviously, compared to yesterday,
yeah.
Completely different paddock. Everything's changed.
Absolutely. There's a few cars that were racing yesterday that will also be racing out today. One of the sessions that's going on at the moment is seeing some of the TVR Tuscans that were out yesterday rejoining us. But the vast majority of the cars that were in the paddock yesterday have disappeared and have gone home, and they're replaced by a whole new batch of cars now that we're going to have a wander around and see what we can pick up on, who we can see.
Yeah, and because these cars all came in late last night and we weren't here, we don't know where anyone is, really. So this is going to be a walk on the wild side, really, I think. So, but like you say, a nice change of pace in terms of cars, because as I drove in this morning, it wasn't the usual case of thing. So, now, I'm going to struggle with names of cars here, but that one, it wasn't that nicknamed the Frog, the blue one?
That's the Frog-Eyed Sprite, yeah.
There we go.
That's the Frog-Eyed Sprite, which I've got to say is one of my favourite cars. I've always hankered after owning a Frog-Eyed Sprite. That's Brent Fowler that will be driving that one.
Right.
It's a car that has been raced by Tim Cairns, I think, in the past, who has been a stalwart of the club for a good many years. We've got lots of MGs. We've got the Frog-Eyed Sprite. We've got the BMW 1600 Ti. That's David Cornwallis, who races that beautiful 1600 Ti. And then we move on to strange little cars like the Turner, which is a car that not that many people will have heard of. And this probably gives us the opportunity to chat to our first driver of the day as well, because Tim Cairns is ready to, I think, talk the wheel nuts up. But before we do that, Tim, we'll have a quick chat to you, because again, you've been a driver that's been with the CSCC for a good number of years and has been hugely successful.
Oh, I've had a few successes, yes, but well, you accept them when they come along, don't you?
You're very successful in your Frog-Eyed Sprite in the swinging 60s. Now moving on to the little Turner, the X.
Well, the Frog-Eyed Sprite is still in the garage sulking.
Right.
Because it's all ready to come out, but I can't drive. Well, I was thinking of maybe changing cars in the middle of the race, actually, just for a bit of a laugh.
You've got a few in the stable as well, because you've got the Sprite, albeit it's poorly. You've got a couple of midgets. You've got the Turner, and of course you've got your Special Saloon and Mod Sport midget, which you raced back in the 1970s and 80s in the past.
Yep, I have. Yes, they're all sitting in splendour in the building we call the Cathedral. So we go and pray to them.
But a busy man this weekend. You'll be looking to try and maybe grab the win?
Who knows? I mean, there's lots of new cars coming through all the time, and some of them look extremely smart and well prepared, so you just never know really what's coming along. We'll do our best.
Modest man. He'll be at the front. He'll be at the front, absolutely. Thank you, Tim.
So let's see what we can do then in terms of finding out, because I've seen some classic minis around. They are personally my favourite car.
Yeah.
I love them. Cameraman, you're going to get run over by a van there and a trailer. There you go.
You've seen the classic minis. What you need to remember now, Anthony, is where you saw them in the paddock.
Over there.
That way,
so
right?
That
okay.
way.
Right.
So they were quite far away, unfortunately. Yeah, but we'll head over. We've got a bit of time, haven't we, to head over there? But yeah, no, a fantastic array of proper classic cars that we're seeing here now, and that is such a sight to see, because I see them when they ever race at Goodwood. When you see the minis racing against Mustangs at Goodwood. Oh, what a sight that is, and hopefully we're going to see something similar today.
Yeah, I mean, that's what some of these series are about, trying to recreate exactly what you saw back in period. So when you go to, I mentioned yesterday on the build-up show that, we have Mintex Classic K. Now, Classic K is for FIA Appendix K cars, which means they are built to period specification. So everything on those cars is back to as it would have been in the 60s. So as a result of that, we do start to see things like Minis racing against, not so much Mustangs in that, but we do start to see them, battling away with some cars that maybe have more power but aren't quite as nimble.
Yeah.
When we get to swinging 60s, that's absolutely where we'll see some of the big American muscle cars coming out. And there's a couple of those that I'm looking forward to seeing out here. I think one of them that's likely to be towards the front of the swinging 60s Group 2 race later on will be Ray Barrow with his fantastic great big V8 American muscle car. So watch out for him come the race later on.
Excellent. Now we've nearly been run over several times. We'll head down this way because I'm seeing some cars. They're lining up for the assembly area at the moment.
They are,
but,
yeah.
There is a Mini that I can see over there with its doors wide open, and hopefully we can catch them before they disappear onto the circuit. But yeah, like you say, paddock. We kind of did the first half of the paddock over there yesterday. I'd really like to stretch out into this side and just see what we can see, because there's some lovely Morgans just at the top there as well.
We've got the Morgans, which are our visiting championship, 2 visiting championships that we've got here with the Classic Sports Car Club. We saw the single-seater GB4 series, which is headlining this weekend as a visiting championship. The Morgans join us today, which is always good to see. And again, that's another championship that's been around forever in a day, the Morgan Motor Company Challenge, and many of those drivers that are racing in it now will be the same drivers that were racing the same car 20 years ago. We see a bit of that with the Classic Sports Car Club as well. One thing we could do is that we've got the Mini down here that we're going to try and chat to, but if we miss a few, we might be able to go into the assembly area, because that's where they'll all be going.
They'll all be there, won't they? So, yeah, we can see that fired up here, warming up, getting ready to go out. Now, of course, qualifying this morning that is out on circuit right now. Again, in terms of sort of pace, like these guys, they're not running like you say, they're running the normal sort of tyres that they would have for these cars, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it. So that will be on, if that's a Classic K car, which it is, that will be on the Dunlop Historic Racing tyre. So that tyre is, it's a modern tyre, but it is built to a construction that would have been around in the 1960s. So it's a cross-ply tyre, it's not a radial tyre, which means that there's very little grip on it in reality, which means the car moves around a lot more. And, that's one thing that you look at most modern racing, you don't see the cars moving around to the same degree as you would have done back in Formula One, say, in the 70s and 80s. And this is very similar. It allows that car to move around a heck of a lot more. And if you, look inside, which we might be able to do as well, some of the original features, the original centre dash is all retained. Underneath the bonnet, it will have the same carburettors on as it would have had in period. It's got to be, pretty much a standard engine with any mods that were available at the time done to it, but nothing more than that. So, it's a great little series.
I have to say,
look at the presentation of it.
Absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Like, you're seeing the floor tray there, absolutely no wasted weight or space taken or anything like that. Completely stripped out, looks fabulous. And I'm guessing our man here who's having breakfast is our driver of the car. I'm guessing it's either Roy or Richard that we've got here. Let's go have a chat. Oh no, you can eat your breakfast while we do this. It's fine, we're fine. Is it Roy or Richard who we've got here?
Richard.
Richard.
Rory's my son.
Rory's your son. Excellent. Well, how are you this morning, Richard?
Brilliant, thanks.
Excellent.
What a great day.
It's a beautiful day, isn't it? The sun is shining. It's a little bit chilly, like we've always said, but the car looking absolutely splendid.
It's fantastic. Yeah, we were out at Brands 2 weeks ago. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
Great fun.
Talk us Snetterton, obviously a fantastic circuit. A favourite for you in these cars?
Favourite for my son. He's a little bit quicker than me, so I'm playing catch up today. But it'll be brilliant fun. It's a cracking car for this circuit.
Well, I'm sure that anything he's learnt to be faster than you, he learnt from you.
Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so.
Excellent. In terms of strategy today, what are we thinking?
Go as fast as possible.
Excellent. I like that idea.
Nice, simple strategy.
Yeah, we'll leave you to your breakfast. Thank you very much, Richard.
Thanks a lot.
Best of luck today.
Cheers.
Well, again, just shows their father and son racing a beautiful, beautiful classic car. What an exciting day.
Yeah, I was just looking at some of the other stickers on it. That car's raced in the Silverstone Classic a couple of times. There's a sticker on it from where it's raced at, I think it said Poe in the historic racing there. So, if you have a historic car, and particularly if it's a period historic car as well, to that original FIA Appendix K specification, it allows you not just to race within the Classic Sports Car Club, but it does open up the opportunity to race abroad. The Classic Sports Car Club go to Spa later on this year. There'll be many of these drivers. Why would you not want to take your classic car out and race around one of the most iconic circuits, Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium?
Well, definitely. So could you imagine taking that up Rouge and up there and Pouon? That would be terrifying, I think, in my mind.
It would be the poor old Kemmel Straight I'd be worried about. The poor little Mini would be screaming away, wouldn't it, down the Kemmel Straight?
But no, fantastic. Well, we're just coming through now into the assembly area. That's where they're getting their noise testing done. Obviously, they've got to be all within a specific noise ratio. They can't be too loud or anything like that. Who have we got
bump
here?
into British GT drivers while we're here as well. Mia Fluitt is here. I'm going to grab a quick word with Mia because I know you're heavily involved in historic racing, but of course you're also heavily involved in modern GT racing. You'll be racing in the Intelligent Money British GT Championship this year and maybe a bit of GT Cup as well.
Stay away from GT Cup, but definitely British GT. Yeah, looking forward to it. 2 weeks to go now, so exciting. I'm here to support my husband today. He's racing Ireland today, so yeah, I hope he's going to do well.
You've got a few little historic cars in the stable. It's not just the Elan, is it?
No, we have an Elite and a Lotus 9 as well that we were going to race in the Le Mans Classic. But yeah, we'll see how that goes if we've got time to do it.
How different is it as a racing driver when you jump out of a historic car like this and the next weekend you're racing a GT3 McLaren?
It's quite different. Yes, it's slightly less downforce, and yeah, it is very strange. I have done them back to back actually on 2 days, and that is quite difficult to just get your brain around, you know, heel and towing and, you know, changing gear and, you know, being careful, obviously no ABS brakes and, you know, all this sort of stuff, and then you're going through a GT3 and, you know, hammer the brake and, you know, it's quite a different experience, but I love it. I love the Elan as well. It's such an amazing car.
You're always smiling. You just love motorsport. Great to see you, Mia.
Yeah, see you soon, yeah.
There we go. So Mia Fluitt. So we'll see her out at Alton Park in the opening round of the Intelligent Money British GT Championship in a McLaren GT3.
Oh, lovely. Look at that. Like you say, a vast change of pace, isn't it, for going from one to the other.
It's like chalk and cheese, isn't it?
It really is. Now, we've got about a minute left to go, so let's see if we can try and chat to one driver before they head out on circuit and just see what they're thinking. Do you want to find someone, Mark?
Well, I'm going to see if we can... Yeah, I'm going to grab Joe Ward here because Joe is getting ready for his qualifying session, so we won't keep you long, Joe, but you're out at the wheel of this beautiful TVR Grand Tourer.
I hope to be, certainly.
Racing for many a year, lots of different machinery, largely historic cars, including, of course, one we also see it in another CSCC series, the Special Saloons and Mod Sport, Baby Bertha.
That's correct, yep. I hope to have her out a few times this year.
Slightly more power than the Grand Tourer, though. What are you hoping for over the course of this weekend in Mintex Classic K?
Today, I would like a class win, but who knows whether I shall achieve that. I'm looking forward to driving with my son Piers, so he's doing half of it.
And this is racing season number for you?
I've no idea. I started in late 1984. Right. So there are plenty of people here who've been going longer than me.
And they're not still as quick as you, though, are they?
Oh, I think they probably are, yes. Have a word with Mr. Lambert and Mr. Connolly and Mr. Tice.
Of course, yeah, Alan Tice, Chris Connolly and Brian Lambert. Thanks, Joe. Thanks for chatting to us. So there's Joe Ward. We'll see him out some of the later sessions. You've seen Baby Bertha out on track, haven't you? The old the old DVT Vauxhall that used to race. So, yeah, Joe owns that as well. And you could argue this is his local track as well because he's from the south of Lincolnshire, so near to the Norfolk border.
Excellent. Well, ladies and gents, thank you very much for joining us for day 2 of the Paddock Show here at Snetterton for the CSCC Championship. More racing is about to get underway, but from now, it's qualifying about to hit out to the circuit.
So on the second row, it'll be Chilton